All right, guys, so now we're getting a little fancy. So we're gonna do some scallops tonight. And scallops are a delicacy. They're very delicate little pieces of seafood. And it may not be something that you ever cook at home, but you order in a restaurant all the time. So I wanna show you how to do this and easily. So since like I said, scallops are very delicate. I get the frozen scallops, and to thaw those out, you put them in water. Like you take the frozen scallop and put them on top of a paper towel, and then let cold water kind of run over top of them until they thaw out. It doesn't take very long to do that, so it is something you can do pretty quick when you come home from work or wherever. So I do that, and then I put in some olive oil here in the pan, and you don't want to preheat your pan too much because, like I said, these are very delicate and they cook very quickly. So I did not preheat the pan, but I did not make you also either wait for the pan to heat up. So I put in the olive oil, put a little bit of garlic, sauteed the garlic around, and then I laid the scallops in here. And so if you get real close, the thing that you want to see with scallops, okay, I put a little bit of salt and just a little bit of pepper on them. But when you're looking at a scallop, this is a raw scallop, okay? So you see that how it's pink, and now that it's starting to heat up, do you see how it's starting to get a little white, like this one here on the bottom? This is the thing with scallops. They cook quickly, and the only thing it is about getting them to that white color and not pink. So as soon as you start to see them turning white, then you want to start to turn them. And they're just like shrimp. I don't know if you ever cooked shrimp, but you know that when the pink is gone and they're just white, that they're done. And so what this is called translucent, when they still got that little bit of pink in there. And you'll often see in recipes where it says, cook until the translucency is gone. Well, that's what that means. So, turn all these over for you. And so the other thing with not turning your heat up too hot is that they do cook, like I said, quickly, and they'll get a little bit of a browning on them without burning or being overcooked. Because you want a scallop to almost melt in your mouth. You don't want it to be too dry, but of course you don't want it to be raw either. And so as these finish cooking, the thing that I was telling you was we're gonna get a little fancy tonight is I went ahead and made some black bean spaghetti. So when we're trying to get rid of pastas, the thing is pastas are made of wheat. They're very inflammatory. They're usually full of gluten, a lot of carbohydrates. Whereas a black bean spaghetti, if you look at the label, it's got 180 calories per serving. It does have 19 grams of carbs, but it has 11 grams of fiber. So when you take 11 away from 19, that gives you only 8 grams of net carbohydrates and a lot of fiber. And we tell you all the time that you want to get fiber. But look at that protein, 25 grams of protein and a 2-ounce serving of black bean pasta. So that's what we're going to put this on tonight. And it's a really pretty presentation. And so since I'd already cooked this, I did put a little bit of olive oil on it to keep it from sticking together. And that's what you do so that it doesn't get clumpy. You just put a little bit of olive oil on there. And the other thing that I've done is this is one of the bases that I use a lot for things like my omelets. You can use it for, add tomato sauce and make this a spaghetti sauce, a fancy kind of spaghetti sauce. But, you know, this is going to be like a really nice presentation that we're going to do. And like I said, if you want to do a fancy meal, a special night, this is what you would do. And so again, these scallops, I'm looking at them to see have they cooked all the way through. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of like do one down the middle for you so you can see when you cut it in half, how you know whether or not it's done. So if you look at this, it's not quite done yet because you see there in the middle, there's still a little bit of that translucency that we were talking about. And since you have that, it's not quite done, but it is almost done. And so I will kind of just move it around a little bit in the seasonings, the olive oil and the garlic, to get it really flavored up. But as it's finishing up that little bit more cooking, you see there's the browning on top of it. So I really like it's that brown. I usually like a bigger scallop, but this is all that they had this time around. Now you could do these a little bit like stir fry style instead of turning every one of them. But I don't know, I like to see the browning on both sides of it. That's just me. All right, now as that finishes up with the rest of the translucency, I'm gonna show you we're gonna make this fancy. All right, I got my fancy bowl, and I'm gonna put my black bean pasta there, and then I'm gonna take my topping. Put that on top. See how pretty it looks already? All those colors. And then I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off because it's cooked through. And you can see it's browned on most of them. I'm gonna go ahead and cut another one of these in half so that you can see the inside. Whoops. You see that inside? That is perfect. Absolutely perfect. And so we've turned that off. And now I'm going to take my scallops, put them on top. And personally, I don't like reheated scallops. I mean, you can eat them the next day, but I kind of like them just right when they're cooked. So I'm gonna load up this dish. And this is going to be absolutely amazing. And this, of course, I would have it with red wine. But take a look at that. If you want to do a fancy meal, this is your fancy meal.